Good morning from the Gaspereau Valley. My name is Julie Rosvall. I'm a textile artist and printmaker here just outside of Wolfville in the Gaspereau Valley on the east coast of Canada in the province of Nova Scotia. So I wanted to give a little tour of my exhibition Iterations, which is at Harvest Gallery this month. Unfortunately, due to COVID restrictions, the gallery isn't able to be open. So this is a way that people might be able to get to see some of the prints. We had a little opening on Tuesday evening, which was lovely. A lot of family and friends and strangers from all over came to the Zoom opening, and so I had the opportunity to chat with a few people, and Linda at Harvest Gallery toured around the exhibition a couple of times during the opening. But I thought I'd take a little time right now to show you the prints one by one and sort of give you a little background on, sort of where they came from, what patterns they are, and what processes I've been using to transfer textiles onto paper. So let's take a look. Harvest Gallery is in the town of Wolfville, Nova Scotia, in the Annapolis Valley. They have a lovely selection of fine art and craft pieces from across the province. And I'm very, very lucky to be a part of that. I had my first print there during the press show a few years ago, maybe 5 years ago, I guess, which was quite I still sort of shake my head because the idea of being in among, Catherine Robb Rutherford and Cecil Day and Bonnie Baker and all the amazing printmakers in Nova Scotia is still a bit shocking to me sometimes. But I feel very lucky to be represented by Harvest Gallery in Nova Scotia. So when you come in the front door, the first thing you see is their welcome wall, which is visible at night when you walk around downtown Wolfville. So it's something I've always wanted to have one of my prints hanging on, and to have the opportunity is really lovely. And I'm really pleased with the way this is shawl number one. So the top part, as you can see, is the actual shawl. So I've stitched it to paper. And then the bottom piece of paper is the textile relief print. This was done in 2016, and it was scary to to roll ink on a shawl after many hours of knitting. So this was, sort of a leap of faith that, hopefully it would work, and it did. It was quite successful, and this particular print has traveled to New York State for an exhibition and around Nova Scotia as well, and has now been purchased by the Art Bank of Nova Scotia. So it will be, once it's done here at Harvest Gallery, it will be headed off to Halifax to be cataloged as part of their collection, hopefully shown in Halifax sometime later this year as part of the Art Bank reveals. And then offices around Nova Scotia, provincial buildings, will have the opportunity to have it in their office spaces if they want to, which I think is quite exciting. I really love how the print, because this yarn is hand dyed, it's fleece artist handmaiden silk. And it has a variegation to it. There's definitely some different colors that pop out depending on what the background is. So in the past, this has actually hung in the Harvest Gallery before on this dark wall, and it changes the look of the print completely when it is. And I really enjoy having my work displayed with other craftspeople from around the province. These pots are by Terry Bourgeois King, who's an Annapolis Valley potter, and I think they look so amazing together. So that's the first one. So when you walk in Harvest Gallery, this is what you see. So you can see the details in the print and the colors with those beautiful pots. Harvest has so many wonderful craftspeople as part of their collection. So I highly recommend it when you do have a chance to get into the gallery once again, once we're through this latest bit of COVID pandemic lockdown. First thing you'll see when you come down the stairs is Skeins #1, which was part of the a member exhibition for Craft New Brunswick a few years ago. So what I had done was taken a skein, not one of these ones, but one just like it, and inked them and printed them on paper. And then these skeins actually are hand dyed by me for a project, weaving project that I had done, which just was completed this year, but started in 1999, my millennial project. So this particular one just shows sort of that, color and the absence of color was sort of the idea behind this. So here you see the Dutch lace #2. This is a soft ground etching on copper. And I've also included a swatch. So that particular swatch, I'm just going to go back here for a second, is not the actual swatch that was used for the soft ground etching. And the soft ground etching process, I'm just going to move forward so that you can see the plate. What happens is you take an asphaltum and beeswax coating and you coat the copper plate with that. And then you take, in this case, I took a cotton swatch to create the impression in the soft ground on the copper. And then I put it through the press so that that impression was made, and etched it in ferric chloride. And that provides you with the lines that the ink stays in so that you can make the print. So this is Dutch lace #2. So this was done in 2016. And we moved on. This is the beeswax shawl. This is Baroque Pearls is the designer. I believe they're in either Australia or New Zealand. And I just love the geometric shape of this particular one. You can really see how the raised stitches show off in the print. And I did it as a triptych because that's the easiest way for me to print it as one person. And then Bonnie Baker also came and helped me print on a single piece of paper, which eventually that particular print will be shown with the actual shawl. I also did soft ground etchings of those. This plate was not as successful in my opinion, so I'll probably re-etch it before I have any of these pieces framed. So what happened is I didn't etch it long enough, so the lines weren't deep enough, so that on the bottom one in particular, when I top rolled it, you don't see that contrast. So I'll probably do that one again. But generally the pattern is just, it really works as a print very much, and I really enjoy that. So that's the beeswax shawl. And you'll see when we get to the other side of the room how different a really well-etched plate works for that top roll. So this is the Vesna shawl. This was the shawl that I did last year. I found this, so that particular, that shawl, I was digging through bags last spring trying to find something and came upon a partially knit lace shawl that I discovered after some research that it was actually started in either 2016 or 2017. And so I finished it and I etched a remnant plate for it, as well as printing a triptych. And then this winter, Bonnie Baker came and helped me print this, which is on 66" by 29" paper. So quite a large print to try and and do by yourself. So it was much better to do it with the help of another printmaker. And Bonnie's very experienced, so she's always an incredible help. So I was really pleased with the finished product on this one. And then I wash out as much of the ink as I can. And you can see, if you're up close to it, you can definitely see ink in that particular shawl, but I got enough out that I feel good about stitching it to the paper. This is the soft ground etching of that same pattern, so that I use that shawl to make an impression in the soft ground on a copper plate, and then etched it. And I was really pleased with the etching on this plate. It was just the right depth to get lots of detail, and be able to do something like this top roll that I did for the bottom print. So these are the Vesna shawl remnants 1 and 2. And I think they worked out fairly well. So you can see that difference from the one across the way. There's your copper plate. So that was etched last summer, and this is the Honey Sweet copper plate and the print remnants, and this is the triptych. So again, triptychs are something I can do by myself, although I still have to do it 2 pieces through the press, and then roll back the other way to do the third, because what happens is with a piece like this where it's triangular, we come on to the pressure of the press on the wider edge, and then as the fabric, you know, the angle of the shawl comes through the press, the paper starts to crinkle right along that bottom edge. So I have to do it in 2 separate runs so that I don't end up with that wrinkled paper. This particular shawl turned out really well. And this is Romy Designs, and I believe that she's in Nevada. This is Dutch lace number 1. So when we came down the stairs, you saw the triptych of Dutch lace number 2, which was from 2016. This is Dutch lace number 1, which was done in 2010. And this was the first soft ground etching that I did with the help of Bob Maroney in New Brunswick. And, you know, I really do love this print. I love the look of it almost looks sort of like snakeskin, but it is a very, it's a soft fabric. So I actually used this swatch as opposed to doing what I do now, which is often either do silk or cotton in a really smooth yarn. And so this is a 1-ply, it's very soft. I don't think I starched it at that point in time. So it created a less defined pattern for sure. So that's the Dutch lace number 1 from 2010. And these are the little ones. These are the swatches. And this is sort of where I thought I was headed. I keep making big things, but I'm trying to make sure I stick with the individual small swatch patterns, because it gives me an opportunity to explore different lace patterns and see how they work. And, you know, everyone is different. So there you go. There is Iterations at Harvest Gallery in Wolfville, Nova Scotia. Again, I'm Julie Rosvall, Shipston Designs on Instagram, and Harvest Gallery can be found at Harvest Gallery NS on Instagram, and at harvestgallery.ca on the World Wide Web, and all of those prints are available there. And if you're looking for me, once the show is down, also I do have a website, inkpaperpress.ca, and you can find my prints there as well.